Welcome back, everybody, to some more Galaxy of Heroes. Today we're talking about mods. Specifically, which characters get your fastest mods. There's a lot more to mods than just speed, but speed continues to be an increasingly, well, maybe not increasingly, but an ever-present priority when it comes to mods. And I'm going to be looking at my main account today, although this is a mod on my Gotenks account, because this is a 29 speed mod. I don't have any on my main account, just on this account, and it's on Starkiller. When I do my roster reviews, I always sort by speed, and I make observations of, okay, this character, I think it's great to have a lot of speed, or this character, you don't necessarily need as much speed on them anymore, whereas before they got your absolute fastest mod sets. So we're talking about 5 characters today that don't need your fastest mods anymore, and 5 that probably do. And this isn't to say that the characters that are on the don't need your fastest mod sets, those are not characters that you want to make slow or intentionally neglect. It's just they don't need your absolute top priority. And then the characters I am prioritizing aren't necessarily going to be like my top 5 fastest characters, but they are really big emphasis for fast mods, because you could have a character with a low-ish base speed or a medium tier speed, and they have your best mods, but they're getting outsped by a character that has just a really high base speed. And I made a roster review, and I kind of had this. I think a lot of people thought it was implied that this was the topic I was going to go over in the roster review, because I just pulled something that made sense to me that I had remarked on throughout the roster reviews. But it seemed like there was an appetite for this type of video, so here we are covering the actual topic, starting with the characters that don't need your speed as much anymore. Starting with Admiral Piet. And before I dive into the reasons why I don't think he needs your fastest mods anymore, I just want to clarify, I don't think I'm the mod master of the game. I'm not the best Grand Arena player in the game. I'm not the best TW player. I don't have the best mods in the game. There's tons of people with much better mods than me. But I just think that some characters get a certain reputation, and then it sticks to them like glue, and they never lose it. And people just leave their fastest mods on characters long after they're due. So Admiral Piet was a great character for your fastest mods about 4, 5, 6 years ago. But it's because he was the one getting the Imperial Troopers team going. And while I know there are still uses for Imperial Troopers, I'm not an expert on them. People are going to tell me about them. Those are niche uses. I think in general, Imperial Troopers are not as viable as they were anymore. The meta has gotten a lot further away from, oh, I got to go first, I'm going to run the table and knock you out. Teams now are strong. They're durable. It's not just a bunch of glass cannons where you just get out in front and you blow them over and they're gone. It's just really hard to do that. It's a lot of back and forth now. And Imperial Troopers are kind of falling by the wayside for that. Now, there used to also be some value to Piet. If you put him with Lord Vader, and, he works great. He marks Lord Vader. He's fast to do that. But now we have clone troopers that go with Lord Vader. So you're not even running a mixed Empire, Maul, Darth Vader lineup with Lord Vader. It's just clone troopers. So, yeah, he can still run with the classic Imperial Troopers team, but I think it's best to take away your absolute best mods for him. I still have a decent amount of speed, 152 with his speed set, and he still needs to have all 6-stop mods for the Executor. But he is really not doing too much. I mean, it was really you get out, you mark someone, you get some buffs, and then everyone's turn meter gets going wild with Imperial Troopers. So, really don't think Admiral Piet should be your fastest character anymore. Next up is Mara Jade. Now, don't attack me so fast. She still needs to be a fast character. I just don't think she needs to be your fastest character. Mara Jade was a really popular priority for the absolute fastest character on our roster when Starkiller was just completely dominant. Kind of a newer team and inspiration and just like the go-to way to take out Rey. Now it's not so clear. We have Starkiller going off with a stranger. Mara Jade is still very viable, and she's still a very important part of that new Vader team or Darth Vader Duel's End. And you still do want some speed on her, because she's gonna get going with Palpatine. They're gonna do the back and forth. The reason I don't think she has to be the absolute fastest anymore, for one, in TW, people that are interested in TW, she gets like a bonus turn right away, so that's not really a consideration. And two, the team with Darth Vader Duel's End is less about getting in front, staying in front, and never letting up, It's a lot. It has a lot more of a give and take, has some resilience to it, and it's not just if you don't go absolutely first, you're done. Also, with Starkiller, before you had a massive boost of speed to her, and it was really just like, can you outspeed absolutely everything else possible in the game other than a Galactic Legend? It's not really the same anymore. She does have a pretty high base speed. I don't have a ton of speed on her on my main account, and I'm potentially disrespecting her. I just don't think she has to be the absolute fastest anymore. I think there's much better uses for those mods, and we're going to move on to another character that doesn't need your absolute fastest mods. Coming back around to the Imperial Troopers, and actually our third Empire character in a row, it's Moff Gideon. So Moff Gideon naturally has a ton of speed. I still have a good, like, plus 151 speed is nothing to shake a stick at, and he's got 349. The reason I don't think he needs to be the fastest anymore is similar to Admiral Piet, but with Moff Gideon, there was also always the option of the Gidme team, which was putting Moff Gideon with Padme. And since he gives 100% protection up to all support allies, not just Imperial Trooper allies, you were getting a lot of courage up on that team. That is not as much of a viable option anymore. Also, he normally goes with Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, which is also a team that is kind of falling out of favor. It is a very strongly reactive team, but I don't think even if you're using him on that team, I don't think he needs to be blazing fast for it to work. That team is durable, has a lot of give and take. You might even revive Moff Gideon. Might die, you might revive him. Like, I don't think you need to get out and, I mean, control the situation is still a great opening move. If the whole enemy is gonna go and you're not, and they don't have anti-Terminator reduction mechanics, but there's a lot of like prevention of Terminator reduction out there. And really just the Dark Trooper Moff Gideon team is not like a top 10 non-GL team anymore. So I think your fastest mods are better used elsewhere. Still an awesome character, still want him fast, just not absolutely the fastest. And finally, giving the dark side and the Empire a break, next on our list is Resistance Hero Finn. So this has mostly to do with the relative downfall of the Zori team. Now, the Zori team is still pretty strong, but it is not like a dominant force as it once was. You could still use it if you know how against, I guess, an Ahsoka team, but I think it's pretty easy for that Ahsoka team to inoculate itself against a Zori team running roughshod over it, like any kind of Terminator gains. And again, I'm not an expert on that to begin with, but it just Resistance is not like a dominant team. Like, I recently in my Grand Arenas on my main account have not even been using the Zori team in a lot of cases. Because on defense, if you just have something that can get out in front and stop it, you really can kind of run over it. It's just there's such a dominant like Terminator trained team when you do get it going, that it's painful. But if you can just withstand or prevent them from getting going, then you can kind of run the table on them. I still have a good amount of speed on him, plus 151. I haven't like completely strip mined his mods off. And if you do use this, I mean, this is like, you know, below Kyber 1, Kyber 2, you would still get a ton of great use out of the Zora team if you have them up and running, you've got them invested in. And if you don't have any of the characters that I'm going to talk about in the second half of the video that I think do need your fastest mods, then by all means, leave him with that. If it's just a awesome tool for you. I still think he needs to be fast. I just don't think he has to be the fastest. And the last does not need to be the fastest on your roster. I'm taking a shot at one of my own favorite characters, Captain Rex. So Captain Rex, when he came out, was just a sensation. I think it was late 2023. Just completely revitalized the Phoenix team. Big Terminator train team. And they currently have, you know, a Datacron to prop them up as of May 2026. Those come and go. And really, why you wanted him so fast is he's the one kick-starting that Phoenix team. And it truly is a completely run-the-table team if you get it going. It's still an option against Inquisitors. But Inquisitors, in theory, and in practice, Inquisitors have so many things going for them. And while Datacrons are temporary, Inquisitors are a unique faction that has so many options to have a specific Datacron for them. They can be an Empire, it can be an Ufu, it can be an Inquisitor. So it feels like they are always having something that can just nip it in the bud. He does have naturally high base speed, and I still have plus 162 on him. I personally use him on a Leia team, but it's much less. It's just important that he has generally fast speed, like he's not falling super far behind. It's not like you have to go first with him or you're toast. Whenever he goes, it's going to be great. You're going to do tenacity down on defense or offense. This is the opening move. The AI does it too. I mean, tenacity down, daze, offense down, lots of great stuff. Some turn meter gains. But you could even argue he wants to go after a few of his teammates have gone because he's going to give them some turn meter by this, well, at least if they're Phoenix and Clone Trooper. So maybe not all a team actually. But yeah, he just doesn't. It's not super critical anymore. He's great. He wants to be fast, just not the fastest. All right, so now we know who doesn't have to be the fastest on your roster, but who does want your fastest mods. So this could either be the absolute fastest on your roster or just you really want to prioritize some mods. I'm going to start with Baylan. So I will just disclose up front, he is not like a top 5 non-Galactic Legend speed on my roster, because I do have him built for survivability too. As you can see, there's no speed mods here. There's no speed sets. However, I have plus 162 speed on him without a speed set. He's built for just durability, but he is a massive play to go first. So if you have his Omicron in Grand Arena, even if you don't, you start with his AoE. In most cases, there are situations where you don't. It's going to dispel all buffs, stun enemies for 1 turn. Enemies who resist the stun lose 50% turn meter. Cannot be evaded or resisted. And then in Grand Arena with the Omicron, it's lose 100% turn meter. Instead, armor shred, mercenaries get 10 speed, all kinds of stuff. That is one of the best opening moves I can think of off the top of my head. It's just massive. And he is not like an Admiral Piet or a Moff Gideon. He is tanky as crap. It is not you have to go first or you're going to lose, like Imperial Troopers or Phoenix in some cases, or what have you, Zori. They can take punches, they can take the hits, but just getting out in front, that is just massive. If you go first with him, you're gonna just crush. So I could go completely fully embrace that route and do a speed set, but I think I have a good speed how it is. Let's look here. We got 25, 27, 26, 26, and yeah, speed primary. So I'm happy with it. Can I get him to like 360? Yeah, probably, but I don't know. There's other people on this list that want those mods, and I think a lot of people have advised me to just go full speed set, but he's definitely on this list for me. Next up is Commander Ahsoka Tano. Now, I just released a Galactic Legend ranking, and JMK fell to the lowest he's ever been on my ranking of the relative Galactic Legends, but still it is the case, I think, Ahsoka Tano is one of your best choices to get your fastest mods. So for me, I have plus 170 speed on her. She's 360. If I'm really trying to push it, I think I've gotten her at least close to or over 370 before. But that JMK team is still an important team. You're going to use it all over the place, and you want her to get off key insta-kill before you face an enemy team. And there are instances where in a mirror match, you have the potential to go after the other Ahsoka Tano, and in that case, you want to go fastest. That is pretty occasional, actually, because most of the time there's General Kenobi. You're not going to be able to dispel his taunt, and you're going to just have to kill a tank instead of another cat. But mirror matches aside, just really high value there in charging a JMK's ult. Not just the insta kill, but you get to her turn. She's got turn meter manipulation, so you want her to be with the turn meter swap, you want her to be taking as many turns as you can and getting around to subsequent forced leaps. So I still think she stands out as a really high speed target, even if JMK relatively is falling in viability. He's still, a really good PvP, Galactic Legend, PvE, what have you. So you want Cat pretty fast. Next up, we got the Stranger, relatively new character, came in this year. And he completely revamped the Starkiller team, took over the team, and then he's combined with Maul. There's a couple schools of thought. I think there's a school of thought that you just make him tanky. The way I think about it, you want him as fast as possible and as high health as possible, because you do want him durable, but you do want him taking turns fast. And this is a highlight. This is a move I kept forgetting about. The revive and, on both sides of things, like failing against getting letting the revive happen and almost missing the revive on my side. But he's got like a mass assist. I mean, all Dark Side Ufus in user Dark Side Ufu Acolyte allies to assist. So you're gonna have 2 of them on his team. If you have the Ordeal team, that's Starkiller and Spiderlegs Maul. But that's a lot of damage coming in with that assist. So you want him going as many times as he can, and then also the speed. This is something, it's not going to happen all the time, but if he has 250 speed more than the target enemy, you instantly defeat them. He's going to get plus 50 speed for the first time he takes a turn. There's other speed manipulation somewhere in places in his kit. So the higher his speed is, like you do on basic, he's up to 400. There's real opportunities for insta-kills on a basic there. And just his turns are very impactful. I mean, I think this is probably the most impactful, but just really good stuff. He's a character that's going to be around for a while. You're going to want him fast, so I think just give him some of your best mods out there. And number 4 on the fast list, not in that order. Not like Balin has to be your fastest and Starkiller has to be your 3rd fastest. It's just kind of talking about characters that you want good speed on. Even with the nerf to Ezra and shoehorning him in with Ahsoka, who was originally intended to be with, I still think you really want a really fast Ezra. One, because his turns are so impactful. You get out there, you give all these boosts to the rest of your allies, the Spectre teams, Dispel, the debuffs, you know, the protection up. Once he gets to this turn, I mean, they are still impactful. As long as you are on Spectre team, like every single one can be every single one of his turns can be devastating. And if he's not fast, it can really make the team easy to walk all over. I do it on Gotenks all the time. People just don't have a super fast Ezra, and it makes it super easy. And when they do, I get crushed. So he is a really easy priority. Of course, it's only for people that have Galactic Legend of Ahsoka Tano now, so take it with a grain of salt. And a lot of these are Conquest units, but not all of them. So I'll get to our final one soon. But Ezra, I mean, if you have them, and you do have Ahsoka Tano, really wants super fast speed mods. The final character in this list is kind of a cheat because it is 2 characters. It is Great Mothers and Morgan Elsbeth. And I finally remodded my Great Mothers and Morgan Elsbeth to be fast. That was easier for Great Mothers because I was already kind of mostly there, but Morgan is up and running too. Now they're not the fastest unit on my roster. 350 is not my fastest unit, but plus 174 speed, that's pretty close. I think they might have no, they don't have a 28 speed cross. Did I give that to Morgan? Someone's got a 28 speed. Well, anyway. Or maybe it was a triangle. It was like a weird primary. I don't know. It's somewhere. There's a 28 speed bond somewhere. She's 350. And in Morgan Elsbeth, you want kind of just behind. I have 4 speed slower. Plus 161 speed is not too shabby. Morgan actually has a higher base speed, so it's easier to get her faster, but you do want Great Mothers faster. And this is for the Ahsoka Tano counter. Galactic Legend Ahsoka, specifically to outspeed enemy Ezra. So you get plus 30 speed with the lead. And Ahsoka actually doesn't have a speed boost, which is kind of interesting for a GL. I feel like I'm so used to almost all GLs getting that. So a 380 speed, we beat up to 379 speed Ezra, which is probably over 99% of them are under that speed. So plenty for that. Or maybe you need Morgan there. I don't know. You need Morgan at that speed, probably. But you want Morgan going second. It's just great for the counter. You can knock out the whole team, especially in 5v5, 3v3. I think it might be a little bit more tricky. But I, for the longest time, had Morgan just set up for pure durability with some speed. Maybe not necessarily a ton, but with some speed. Now, she's still pretty durable with a speed set. And if it works out well, you don't need to take many hits, if any. And that's not going to only do well against Ahsoka. That's just gonna be a nice combo, especially if you have her Omicron. I mean, expose, stagger, buff immunity, gonna get frenzy out on everybody. It's all kinds of good stuff. So that's a good Omicron to have too. And this is a team that I think this is like a beginner team at this point. Like, you can farm straight up. All these characters I've been talking about until this point have either been legendaries or journey guide units. Or no, legendaries or conquest units. But you can just farm Great Mother straight up. You can use a token on her at this point. She's accelerated. I think it could be like almost anything. So I think that is probably the key character. These are the key characters to really focus on, give your best speed to make sure you can just wipe the floor with anything. So I think that's a good character to end on, just with the accessibility. These are all newer units, except for Cat. Cat's kind of old. But let me know what you think. Who are some characters you think should be super fast, and who are some characters you think are, people still have too fast, even though they should be. And honorable mention for like that doesn't need to be so fast is Echo, but like Echo's actually really viable on a Queen Amidala team. That buff Dispel, a status buff Dispel. Since it's not doing damage, it just can't be evaded. So you can take away any foresight or anything. All buffs, super valuable. So I didn't put him on the list of doesn't need speed. And I wouldn't necessarily put him as like has to be your fastest, but he's still a good target. So I will state that, because in my last roster review video, I was kind of giving people a little bit of grief for having super fast Echo, but he is still an important on that Queen Amidala team, just not necessarily an OG Bad Batch team. But that's going to do it for this one. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See ya.